Hey, I'm Lucia, and today we are going to paint a Christmas tree in acrylic.
The first thing we're going to do is to make sure our tree fits in this paper. So we're going to draw it to make sure that it fits right. I'm going to teach you a trick. We're going to divide our paper into two parts with a vertical line. It's really important that you don't push down hard on the pencil. Be very gentle with the pencil, because if you push down too hard, you're going to leave a mark that you're not going to be able to erase. So now we're going to sketch another line to divide the paper into two parts. So at the end of the day, there'll be 4 different parts. So this is a horizontal line. Now, we're going to divide this line, this vertical line, in the top part in 3 different parts, pretty much the same. And on this bottom line, we're going to divide it into 2 parts. We sketch a line here at the bottom. We divide this line in 2 parts. And this other one also in 2 parts. More or less. So we sketch a little line from this one to that point. From that point to that one. And now we have a triangle. So now we're going to draw the trunk for our Christmas tree. We need to erase the extra lines that we don't want to keep, like these. And on the inside too, we don't want to keep those. It's time to give form to our tree. Without pushing down very much at all with the pencil, we're going to design our tree. We can erase the lines that we don't want. And now we have the skeleton for our tree. So when I paint in acrylic, I like to start with a very light color, and later I'll make it darker. So for example, I want to make a green now. So I'm going to start with a really light green, and then later I'll go adding darker colors. I add little by little some blue to our yellow until I get the tone that I like. Now I have it. So I'm going to use this brush, and I make lines just like this. When I finish an area, I drop down to the next part. And I keep doing it until we paint the whole tree. Now, I'm going to make a different mix of green that's a little bit darker. Since I have a lot of green left over in this one, I'm going to take some and put it in another area. And I'm going to add some more blue on top of that green. And I make it darker. I'm changing brushes to have a finer brush And the brush that I was using, I put in the water and I leave it there. Now, I draw lines in our tree, but this time a little bit more separated, not so close like before. If I see that while I'm painting, the brush doesn't paint like I want it to, it's because the paint needs a little bit more water. The trick in making a beautiful Christmas tree is depending on how many different layers of paint you have. The more layers of paint you have, the prettier your tree will turn out to be. So we keep painting lines. They don't have to be perfect. They're random lines, but towards the bottom. When you paint, make sure you paint with the tip of the brush. Never like this. Always with the tip. I'm going to mix yellow and blue again to get an even darker green. Because the green that I want is very dark, so I'm going to put just a very little bit of yellow, and I'm going to add a lot of blue to mix it. If I want it to be even darker, I can add some black. I'm going to try and see if I like this green. Yep, we're going to go with this one. And we do the same thing as before. With a very fine brush, we start to randomly paint lines again. But it goes down towards the bottom of the tree. What we want to see is the different layers and the different greens that we have. Since this green is darker, I'm going to try to make sure that my lines are more separated and they're not so together. We're going to let this layer dry. So now that it's dry, I'm going to add another layer with this really light green that I just made. And same thing. We're going to make random lines like we did before. And now you can start to see that the tree is more profound. Remember, always using the tip of the brush. Short little brush strokes. We're going to let this dry, and while we wait, we're going to make brown. To make brown, we need blue, yellow, and red. But seeing as I already have some green here that I'm not going to use anymore, I'm going to take some of it, for example this one, and I'm going to make brown with it. So I'm going to add red to this green. And with this brown, I'm going to make the trunk. This is the first layer. I'm going to draw the ground. If you'd like, you can add a background. I'm not going to, but you're welcome to draw one if you'd like. Or also using colors that you'd rather use. I'm going to take advantage of this green that I had left over to paint the ground. I'm using a flat brush. Now I've got the first layer from my ground. So now our painting is dry. I'm going to draw the star and the decorations of the tree to be able to paint it later. The first color that I want to use for my decorations for the lights is a very light yellow. So I'm going to use white with just a little bit of yellow. With this yellow, I'm going to paint some of the lights. So now it's time to experiment with colors that you love. I'm going to use red, orange, white. You'll see. You can choose whatever color you want, okay? I'm going to make a pink. Now that I've done the lights, now I'm going to paint some balls or ornaments of different sizes, different colors too. I'm going to add another layer to the colors that aren't sticking out very much. So you can see the pink, you can't see it really well. So I'm going to give it another layer. I'm going to do the same with the orange. With a really fine brush, I'm going to do the cable of the lights with the black. Instead of painting a line, what I'm doing is just a lot of little dots. Really close together. With this same brush, I'm going to paint the star. And I'm going to give another layer to our grass or our ground while the tree's drying. I'm going to add another layer of red. Now I'm going to paint with little dots to give as much color as I can to the tree. I'm gonna paint another layer of orange on the balls. Now we're almost done. I'm gonna add the last little touches of white. Put a paper behind because we're gonna do something very fun and I don't want to get my table dirty. So for this drawing, we're gonna take our favorite colors. So for example, red, yellow. I'm gonna make a green. And with an old toothbrush, I've got this one that I've used many times. We're gonna do something really fun. I'm going to put the brush in the paint, and later I'm gonna do this. And I'm gonna fill the background with dots. I put a little more water in the paint so it would be a little bit easier. Isn't it fun? I love doing this. It relaxes me so much. Be careful because you can fill up the whole house with paint if you're not careful. So always try that it doesn't get out of the painting or the paper you have it behind you. Now I'm going to try yellow. I'm going to put a little bit more water in it like before. Now I'm going to use the green. But the green, I only want it to be on this bottom part. And that's it. Now we have our little Christmas tree.
Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. See you soon.